scared me for a minute there. I didn't think we had picture, but we're on, and I just found something. So you guys listen to this with me for a moment. Let me know if you hear this. Ready? So far, nothing. Little background music there.
Very nice.
That's
You guys have
wow.
to tell us what you think of it.
Well, here, this is what we need for Friday morning,
I
right
don't.
here.
I'm certain that we don't.
I don't know, maybe. Oh, I gotta turn it up. I don't know. It's meant to be a little background music here. Okay, yeah. Uh, well, we have. Oh no, I was gonna say we have lots of. Oh, here's Paul's favorite.
Oh, there you go.
Turn loose. Turn Paul loose on a piano for just a second. Okay, yeah. So we have our background music going. I'm gonna let that go for a bit. We're going back to chat. I'm gonna try our doohickey here, and we'll see. I think it's working now. I mean, it won't
Guess
show
we'll
us the
find
past
out.
post. It'll show us the future post. So
All right.
we got Jenny on and Kim on. Good morning. Good to have you guys.
Now, where do you see that?
Oh, I looked before I went over.
Okay, so now we're here and we don't see it.
I tried. And we don't see the past post, only the current now that we've gone to this.
Okay. So somebody post something. I want to see if this is
So
working.
you had to pay attention while that was back there. And be observant. See, look.
All right.
Yeah, we do. We have a new toy. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting those. So
Awesome.
our
it's actually working.
our large print chat works. and we've got our background music happening here. This is the lounge sound.
We are so hip.
I wonder if I could load someone there. I don't know. I don't know if you guys realize this. Okay, this is we haven't gotten on topic yet, so can we be off topic yet? So
We're good at that.
yeah, you probably haven't realized, but we have had AI around for a good while. We're just now becoming a lot more aware because there are other things we can do with it, like Chat GPT. And so,
Is that what this is?
no,
Oh.
Chat GPT, you can actually go in. It's really kind of fun. You can say, write a love song about, and you can give it some parameters, and it'll actually do the song for you. The lyrics anyhow. I don't know if you'll get the music. They have ones now. I haven't messed with this yet. Good morning, Bethany, and Vicky's on. I haven't messed with this yet, but they actually have AIs that'll do logos. They'll do graphics for you. You'll describe it, and they'll give you the better description you get. They're actually really good for social media posts. You don't want to do them verbatim. You can tweak them, but you say, write a Facebook post advertisement about the men's ministry retreat with the theme, blah, blah, blah. Here are the dates from First Baptist Church Loudcroft. It'll do all that, and you just have to make a couple little tweaks.
Really?
Yep. AI is here. But it's been here for a while because, we always talk about Facebook, the algorithm and stuff like that. All that is AI. So YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all of those have been using AI from the beginning. In fact, so if you want to depress yourself a little this weekend, just for fun, before you take a break from your labor on Labor Day, on Netflix, you don't have Netflix, do you? Do you have Netflix? On Netflix, there is a movie, it's a documentary, and it's called The Social Dilemma. And it's actually the people on there who developed the AI for those platforms who are saying, be careful. You know what I mean? And they describe how it's used in the social media realm. of doing stuff. So we suspected things like this for a while, but if we are both on Facebook and we're Facebook friends, or even if we're not Facebook friends, but we both have our phones, we're in proximity with one another, it knows that and it'll suggest you as a friend. Or if we are friends, it'll all of a sudden you'll pop back up in my feed, even though you might not have been there in a long time. And that's not accident. We always think, this coincidence. It's not.
Well, if AI was any good, it should like do a quick background check on both of us and see if we're even compatible to be friends.
It may do that. So we well, here, let me show you this. So this is Snapchat.
I'm turning my phone off.
Yeah, that won't help. Let me answer my wife first. So this is Snapchat, and it did this. I didn't do this. It did this all on its own. It gave me my AI friend as for Snapchat, and so watch this. I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to send it to the AI, my friend on Snapchat, the AI. And it says, looks like the perfect setup for a productive day. What are you working on? So it saw my cup of coffee and the keyboard in the picture. So it looks like I'm getting ready to do some work for the day. So I'm going to type in video stuff. And he's going to answer back. That's awesome. What kind of videos are you working on? That's the AI. Isn't it cool? No, you're like, no, it's frightening.
It's interesting.
And don't worry, all that stuff about Skynet, that's not true. It's called Starlink or something.
Skynet.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Skynet. But it's not. That's not true. That's fiction. It's called Starlink. It's Elon Musk.
Yeah, yes. I know what Starlink.
So anyhow, nope. It's everywhere. In fact, so what I've been seeing in the ministry stuff. In fact, I have a magazine that I get, Ministry Magazine, and I've already been sending other articles about it. Is trying to leverage that AI for ministry, because here it's being used whether we know it or not.
All I can say is nothing like the real thing,
baby. Is that a song?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I don't know if they are songs or if they are commercials, jingles. So anyhow, what we're talking about is we just did the passage where Jesus is observing the last Passover with the disciples, and the whole thing about that Passover we kind of miss a little bit because there's so much in there. I mean, we could do a whole series on that night. I mean, we're going to get to some of the others because that includes if you put the whole night together with the details from all the Gospels. That includes the foot washing. That includes who's the greatest. That includes the what we call the high priestly prayer. Is Jesus was praying on the way to the Garden of Gethsemane. So that whole night is huge. But in the Passover, really the point of the Passover is Jesus is saying this is the end of the old covenant and the beginning of the new. Yeah. So we talked about that some on Wednesday with Jim. So what are some implications? What does that mean for us? That you guys chime in. What does it mean that the old covenant has passed away, or if you want to use the words that the Bible uses, it's been fulfilled, it's now made obsolete? Jesus said that he came to fulfill it. Hebrews says that means that it's now obsolete, and Jesus initiated a new covenant with us. So what are the implications of that? What does that mean for us? You guys tell us. What do you think? What does it mean that we're not under the old covenant anymore, we're under the new?
Well, I think while they're chiming in on that, maybe we should describe what the old covenant was.
That's a good question. What was the old covenant?
Well, hey, I mean, we still need to offer animals for sacrifice.
Well, first of all, you have to ask, who was the old covenant with? Or if you want to use proper English, with whom was the old covenant?
With the
Phrase your answers in the form of a question, please. Who is?
who are the Israelites?
Yes. So first of all, one of the things that really would help us to get a grasp on this, the old covenant, the covenant that God made with Moses, was actually with the children of Israel. So the old covenant, the law, we would call it, was for the Jews. It was never for the Gentiles. Now, there were some who were proselytes, so they would proselyte into and become a Jew. And so the old covenant was with the Jews. Okay.
Right.
So that's the first thing.
Yep.
So if you talk about that, the old covenant was with the Jews, and then think about, they had been 400 years in slavery in Egypt. They had been generations. I can't, the United States has only been around for a little over 200 years. For 400 years, that is what they knew. The Egyptian culture was ingrained in them. The Egyptian gods were ingrained into the culture. I mean, we live in the U.S. We used to be more of a Christian nation. We're past that now, but their culture was together. There was not a separation between their religion, their worship, and their culture, their laws. That was all together in the Egyptian culture. So think about it. You have, my great grandpa, probably further back than that, all the way down to here. This is all they know. So all they knew was the Egyptian culture with the worship of many gods, with Pharaoh being, kind of the primary, the
Grand Poobah.
Yeah, the kind of the sun god. So think about what God would need to do with the law. And that's why when we hear that, what do we typically think of when we think of the law?
10 Commandments.
The 10 Commandments, right?
The third.
You know how many there were?
8,000,006.
Close. There's a 6 in there.
Yeah.
Over 600. 613, something like that. Commands, because we usually just think of the 10. And those are ones that are kind of good rules to live by. But they could have just given the 10 really quickly. We have Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, that word means second law, so it's like a retelling now. This is after Moses passed away, Joshua is about to go on into the promised land. But on everything, what are some of the ones that you can think of? Can you think of any of the, because we freak out about some of these?
About the
law,
the other laws.
Yeah, the old covenant,
not
the 10.
10.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like stoning your kids if they misbehave, and
isn't that funny? That's the one you and I kind of come to every time.
Well, I happen to agree with that.
So one of them is, if a kid is disrespectful to their parents, you can stone the kids. Wow. Okay. Any others? You guys hop in. What are some of the laws you can think of under the old covenant?
Don't eat shellfish and stuff like that.
Yeah. Under the new covenants, don't be shellfish. I mean, no, wait, that's not right. That's never mind.
You got that one.
Yeah.
Must be a translation problem.
I think so. It's from the Septuagint, which is the Greek version of the Old Testament, which was written in Hebrew. Yeah. The Vulgate is written in Latin. So anyhow, who cares, right? So all of those, what you could eat. So you could eat grasshoppers. I always say this. I need to look and see if it's actually true, but stuff like you can eat grasshoppers, but you can eat crickets. You can eat sheep and goats, but you can't eat pigs. That's a big thing. life without bacon. So there were so many, and we tend to separate that. We tend to kind of say, no, the law is really the 10. All those other things that wasn't part of it. No. Those were that was all part of the law. That was all part of the covenant that they were supposed to keep, not just the 10 commandments, but they were supposed to keep all the law. I mean, Paul talks about that even. Peter talks about it whenever God, shows his vision. I think it was Jesus, but he gets this vision about the clean and unclean animals, and that's his take, kill, and eat. Because I've never done that since my childhood till now. I've never eaten anything that was unclean. Big deal, because that's part of the law. That's like one of the big 10. So part of the reason that God gave the law to the children of Israel when they came out of slavery in Egypt was they needed to know how to live now as God's people rather than slaves in Egypt. And that included all the spiritual kind of things, as well as how to govern themselves. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What to eat, what not to eat. That was very important for them. There were some really good dietary reasons for those things. But one of the things that we just really need to realize is that was never, so we were never under the law. Right? I'm not a Jew. Have you ever been a Jew?
No.
Okay. We were never under the law. And the Gentiles weren't. So that's something that's really important for us to remember. Although we kind of tend to slip back into that. We kind of see Judaism Christianity as an extension of Judaism. That we added Jesus to.
Just added Jesus to everything that was
to the rest. Yeah, we just kept walking on. And that's not the language that the Bible uses. So anyhow.
Right, and then the sacrifices that I was
huge. That was the sacrificial system was
that was central to their beliefs.
So when Jesus is saying that's completed, that's fulfilled, later in Hebrews, it's no longer necessary. That's obsolete. What that word means. And then inaugurated a new covenant with us. I mean that's what he's working in the realm of Jews there, but that's what he's talking about. And so for us, what does it mean that we're not under the law? We're under grace. Paul goes into that. We've been going through Romans on Thursday mornings. So what does that mean for us? What does it mean that we're under the covenant of grace, not under the covenant of the law? I think we lost everybody. We got a little too detailed for them.
They're like, whoa.
They're already taken off for their Friday, right? So let me just kind of throw some examples out there. You remember when Jesus was saying, you've heard that it was said, but I say to you, you've heard that it was said that you shall not commit murder. Mm-hmm. But I say to you, if you have hatred for your brother in your heart, you've already committed murder.
Yep.
What Jesus is doing is helping us understand the difference between the law and grace. The law says that's the line. You can go right up to it, but don't cross it. You can hate your brother, but don't kill him. Right?
Yep.
Jesus said that's not what grace is. Grace is we see how far away from that line we can get. And we talked about this with the speed limit usually thing. 55. I can drive 60 before I get a ticket. So what we're saying is I'm going to push the law until I have a consequence. That's kind of what the law usually does for us. Grace says, hey, you know what? That doorknob over there has 10,000 volts of electricity. It'll kill me if I touch it. I'm going to stay on this side of the room. I'm going to make sure that I don't even get close to that.
I don't even accidentally touch it.
Yeah. I'm going to set up things in my life so I can't trip and have that consequence. So that's kind of where grace goes, and Jesus really kind of pulls that together when he says, "A new commandment I give to you." And this new commandment doesn't negate any of the other stuff that we had in the 10, and a lot of the other stuff that was carried in the other law, except for the dietary stuff. It really helps us to go the other way. Jesus says, "Here's my new commandment I give you, that you love one another as I've loved you." I love you. Am I going to kill you?
Probably
I
not.
would say no.
Yeah.
A Workian might say something different,
Yeah.
but I would say no. If I love you, am I going to steal from you? If I love you, am I going to lie to you? But it even goes beyond that, because if we love one another like Jesus loved us, then what we're going to do is actually seek the good for others. So that means sometimes we tell each other the hard things, right? I mean, that means that we do things for one another's benefit. And the ultimate expression of love, Jesus says, is that you give your life for someone else. But we can live that out by putting other people before us. And we see that a whole lot in the New Testament. Paul talks about that. So that was it.
Well, and Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. We don't need to do that anymore, right?
That was part of it. And so, yeah, on the cross, when he said it is finished, he was talking about more than simply his life. He was talking about more than simply completing his task. What he's saying is that yes, it's done. And if you look, goodness, it's one of the fun things about doing a Seder service, which is kind of a little Passover service. Everything points to Jesus all the way through. I mean, all the sacrifices, everything, all that points to Jesus. Jesus is the fulfillment of the Old Testament, the Old Covenant. So,
How about that?
So if you want to know what does it look like to live under the new covenant, here's the question. Are you ready?
Sure.
What does love require? When you think about what do I do in this situation, what does love require? Does that make sense? That's too deep for you?
Yes.
I'll be a little bit more vague then.
Okay.
Should I teach somebody what does love require?
No.
Not only should I not cheat you, but I should do things that are for your benefit.
Yes.
I should be generous, right? Cheating is kind of the result of being stingy. I should be generous. All these circumstances and situations that we find ourselves in, should I do this or not, or how should I respond? What does love require? Somebody cuts you off in the parking lot at Walmart. Or my pet peeve is I'm turning into this and they're on the other side and they pull through and park the wrong way there. What does love require?
Let them have the spot.
And be kind to them. Don't glare at them. That's hard not to do. You ever done that? I have. I confess freely. So what does love require? If we ask that question, then that is going to steer us along the command of love one another. That's cool. Well, let's punch out. I think most everybody has already.
That's right. Probably eating shellfish by now.
For being shellfish. I don't know. Let me pray for us. Lord, thank you for your love, for the way that you work and move in our hearts. God, help us to live according to the law of love, the commandment of love. And as we go through our days, as we deal with our friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors, and just those acquaintances that we run across, Lord, help us to live with this question in mind: what does love require? And let that be our guiding rule for how we do things, how we live, and how we treat people. God, I pray that because of that, people would come to faith in Christ. In Jesus' name we pray. I think maybe it was the music. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, we need to kill that.
I think I should have gone with the hip hop actually. So here we go. Love you guys. Have a great week, and we won't be here Monday. I won't be here Monday. Monday's holiday,
Okay.
so we're taking Monday off. No Java and Jesus on Monday, but be back on Wednesday,
We'll see you on Sunday, we hope.
Sunday, and Wednesday. See you guys.
All right. Take care.